Howdy, everybody. It is Tuesday morning. It is the 9th of June, D-Day +3, as they used to say. Uh, Welcome to our one video a week. Please take a look at this. I'm going to go through some jargon, and I want to make sure that you all are notified that Chef Robert Irvine of the Food Network is going to also have a Zoom in. I've sent it to the Mo Tea Time group because he's talking about restaurants and he's talking about what to do or giving some advice for about 20 minutes on what to do when restaurants are reopening after having been closed the last couple months. If anybody else wants to zoom in on that, I'm going to post the directions, the login information on today's Titanium page for June 9th. And so please take a look at that. With respect to a couple things today, this is kind of I wanted to call it a jargon message, but there were a number of words that I had put up on the syllabus to begin with that talked about certain words. Most of you should know what a creative brief is. If you don't, basically a creative brief is a blueprint for developing an ad campaign, a PR campaign, even an event. It lays down the foundation of what you're going to build. And so hopefully the client has given you that blueprint. I know that with the two teams I'm working with, I've given you a creative brief. And I know that Professor Kessler has given one to you with respect to handles. For the other two, Moti Time and for Samurai Academy, if you don't know exactly what your client is asking you to do, please focus on that and ask them to give you some kind of a sheet. If they don't know what a creative brief is, ask them to give you a list of 3 things they want to accomplish, and ask them for how they look at the brand, their own company, how they would define it, who their target audience is. If the brand, if their restaurant were a character, like a real person, who would it be? Same thing for Samurai Academy. Who would it be? What does it represent to people? What's the equity of the name and its reputation? Those are the things that go into a creative brief. Hopefully that's provided to you by the client. From that, you put together the elements of what we call the deliverable. The deliverable is, it could be several things, but typically the deliverable is what you create on behalf of your client. So it could be a social media campaign. It could be ads like a billboard. It could be menus for Mo Tea Time. It could be equipment for Samurai Academy. It's some kind of marketing product, some kind of tangible product that comes out. That's a deliverable. The number 3 item here was bearing the lead. Bearing the lead, and this applies primarily to PR folks, but it also applies to copywriters. Bearing the lead is when you write about something and you don't mention what the main topic is. It shows up in the 3rd paragraph. So let's say that Tom Hanks is going to star in a new movie about Santa Claus. And you say the new movie is about Santa Claus. It's going to take children don't believe in Santa Claus. The picture will be produced by Sony, and it is scheduled for release next May. Tom Hanks is going to star as Santa Claus. That's bearing the lead. So Tom Hanks's name should have been in the very first paragraph. Tom Hanks will assume the new position, will assume the lead in the new movie, Santa Claus Unleashed. So that's called bearing the lead. In copywriting, bearing the lead is when you say the new brand, Softy, is going to create a new kind of detergent that will make your towels clean. That's where you've mentioned Softy. That's not bearing the lead, that's the lead. But if you said, if your towels need help, if you smell your laundry and it doesn't smell good, if you're looking at something at your laundry and it just doesn't have that oomph, then you need new Softy detergent. That is bearing the lead, because Softy now is way at the bottom. So you need to go back to what I said to begin with. Softy detergent is the new detergent that will make your laundry smell fresh. So you don't want to bury the lead. The next one is called a four-color bleed. What's a four-color bleed? Most of you are not going to be media planners, but you need to understand the jargon. A four-color bleed is when you are buying an ad that is going to be four-color, meaning that it's all the colors of the spectrum, and a bleed means that it's a two-page ad. Well, that's not true. A bleed means that it goes to all four corners of the ad. So it doesn't have a white border. It doesn't have any kind of sharp corners. It bleeds all the way to the end of the page. So that's a four-color bleed. What I meant to say is a four-color bleed truck or a double means that it's a two-page. So four-color means that it is all color, all colors, and bleed means that it goes to the edge of the page. It bleeds all the way to the edge of the page. At a truck or a double or a spread are all the same words that mean that it's a two-page ad, that it goes across two pages. A CTR, what is that? That's a click-through rate. So if you're going to be in social media and you need to track your results, a click-through rate is the number of times someone goes to your landing page, your homepage, and clicks through to a next page. So that's very important for a lot of social media, for a lot of companies who they want to know several things: retention, what attracts somebody to go to my next page, how do I get them to click on that next page. The next word is brand awareness. Brand awareness is everywhere. We talk about brand identification. Brand identification is merchandising. I've got a shirt here today that says Hawaii. So basically, I am making people aware of Hawaii as a brand. So anytime you wear any kind of logo, you are becoming a brand ambassador. You are endorsing that brand, whether it's Nike, Gatorade, Adidas, whatever, Doc Martens, if you're wearing them, you are, and they all have little emblems, badges, something like that on there. They are all about making people aware of the brand. Other types of brand awareness: signage, billboards, all forms of advertising is designed to build brand awareness. With respect to social media, brand awareness is inserting a word, a brand inside your messaging. That's product placement, or even putting a logo in there, or even a picture of a cup. If right now you see me holding this, if I were to just casually drink this bagel meat cup, then I am doing product placement. It's famous in a lot of TV shows when what the heck? American Idol first started, they had a huge Ford logo in the background, and then all the judges were drinking out of Coca-Cola cups. So that showed that there was product placement from Coca-Cola and Ford. So that's all brand awareness. Everything you do is brand awareness. The step and repeat with the 3 sponsors on the backdrop is brand awareness. So if I can get a picture of Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson, and there happens to be a picture of Absolute Vodka or a logo of Absolute Vodka next to them, that gets exposure for me. That's brand awareness. CPMs are cost per thousands. What is the CPM? Again, that goes with media. A cost per thousand is how you measure the exposure you get for 1,000 eyeballs. So the CPM is, the C is for cost, the P is per, and the M stands for thousands. So we measure most advertising budgets on reaching 1,000 eyeballs. So a cost per thousand, it varies, but there's a mathematical form, and I'll put that up on Titanium, how you figure that out. But you basically track, you boil it down to, if this, using the formula, if let's say I'm advertising in a car magazine and it cost me $75 to reach 1,000 people versus advertising on a billboard where it cost me $44 to reach 1,000 people, I'm going to do the billboard. Mainly because it probably is going to be more expensive, but not necessarily. The ad in Road and Track may be more expensive, and I'm reaching key people who are the readers and car enthusiasts. So if I'm Honda Automobiles, I'm going to advertise more readily in Road and Track and pay the higher cost per thousand because I'm reaching my target audience. If I'm also Honda and I'm going to put a billboard up on the freeway, and it only cost me $44 per thousand, that's great because I've got all these thousands of cars that go by and see that billboard every day for 30 days. Typically, billboards are up for 30 days now, or they always have been. They changed now that we have video billboards, but typically that's what it's going to cost. So cost per thousand is all measured on, do you trust this media, or is this media more efficient than this platform, meaning billboards versus magazines? KPIs are key performance indicators. You look at those like you look at everything else. So a key performance indicator would mean, should I use social media? Well, everybody uses social media because it's cheap. But am I getting the same kind of exposure? So if I'm selling a product to an older family, let's say I'm selling life insurance, using social media probably isn't the best way to go, because older people don't use social media as much as, say, your age group. So my key performance indicator would tell me that if I advertised on social media, let's say I used Instagram, I would probably get a very low open rate or visit rate or a click-through rate. So the KPI in this case would probably still tell me to use television advertising, billboards, and probably some magazines, because I'm going after that age group. And the key performance indicators, the KPIs, are that age group still looks at those platforms, those media choices, instead of social media or Spotify, Pandora, anything that might be more modern. And finally, IMC is the integrated marketing communications strategy that we use. Everything today is all about integration. So what I mean by that is I gave you 10 disciplines that fall underneath the integrated marketing communication strategy. They include advertising, public relations, using the internet, research, which we call insight, packaging, which is so important today, everything about the way you package the things. Think about Apple, think about the way the Vans boxes look. That's all packaging. Sales promotions, BOGOs, Groupons, those are all forms of sales promotions. Direct marketing, which is sending things to your email box, as well as your sending texts to your phone. Sales training, well, we have to consistently train people so that they know what's happening, that what's modern, what's the right thing to do. I've talked about this in other classes, but when you go to a dealership these days, if you are a man and a woman, the salesperson is always supposed to shake the woman's hands first, and then the man's hand, and really pay attention to the woman, because 80% of all purchase decisions are made by women. You ladies have all the power, and so therefore the salesman or the saleswoman or the salesperson should really focus on the woman. That's all part of sales training. The last two are brand merchandising or brand identification and cultural inclusion. And cultural inclusion now is about everything that we need to focus on, all genders, all ethnicities, all religions. We have to include everyone. I mean, it goes without saying we need to do that, because every customer, every person, every individual is a customer. So that's what IMC is. And today it's all about integrating all those all those disciplines into one cohesive advertising or a promotional strategy. Okay. So those are the items that I had in your syllabus. If you never looked at your syllabus, now you know those terms. I'm going to continue to pepper you with additional terms throughout the rest of the semester. Okay, so what else do we need to do? A couple things. Those are the two teams who are working with me. Let me know when you want to get together to talk about the creative briefs. Hopefully you've looked those over since last Thursday or Wednesday when I gave them to you, and you've started to formulate some good ideas. So let's schedule some time and put that together. As far as the other three teams, I want you to keep working and communicate with your clients. Make sure that you are being proactive. So like I said, if you didn't get enough information from MOT Time or from Samurai Academy, go back to them and ask them, give them a list of questions that they can answer for you that would give you a better idea. But basically, understand that we have 6 weeks left. So you don't promise the world. We always underpromise and overdeliver. So if they've got 3 things they want to do, try and see if you can do all 3 of those. If they've got 5 things, We probably won't be able to do all 5 of those things, and you need to be upfront with them and honest and say, our team won't be able to do that in the allotted time. That would mean we'd have to do 1 per week, basically, and then write our final paper. So make sure that you are really staying on this and start putting together some work. And I know that some of you are communicating. You also have started to set up, I think, some Google Docs. Some of you are putting in the wrong password because it's coming to Dr. Swanson, and he keeps telling me that he gets a password or a notation from Google that you've entered the wrong password. So be very careful about that. All the passwords are there on Titanium. So input the right password so that you're not, he's not irritated by it or anything, but he keeps sending me the note that the password is being sent wrong, and he keeps having to notify me. So just get that done. Set up your Google Docs. If you don't want to use Google Docs, you'd much rather use Dropbox or whatever, that's entirely up to you. Make sure that you are using my Dropbox. If you have trouble with the links with this video, by all means, let me know, and I will work with you. Call me, whatever you need to do, and we'll set it straight. That's about it. Keep working on your t-shirt projects and your other 2 projects, as well as I want an evaluation from you as a team on what you thought about the Arboretum work. So it can be very short. Answer those questions and then upload that where indicated. Okay. And I think that's about it for now. I hope everybody's staying safe and doing the right things. Trying to think of anything else that we have to talk about. I'm going to post the Zoom in if you want to listen to Robert Irvine talk about restaurants just in general. Maybe your family has one or you work at one. Might be cool to listen in on that. That'll be about 20 minutes. Starts at noon tomorrow. Noon, okay? That's about it. So if you have any questions, let me know. And have a good Tuesday, and I will talk to you soon. Thank you. Bye.